Herido? Herido? Anybody herido?
This is the moment Delwy Del Arma and 9 other Cubans set foot on U.S. soil. Their arrival last month captured on video by a Florida resident. What should have taken 20 hours became a 5-day journey on this homemade boat, using a bucket to bail out water along the way.
The sea was very, very bad.
Wow.
Very bad.
They ran out of food and by the 5th day had lost hope.
We thought we'd never see land. We were about to put a mast and just let the wind drift us away.
Moments later, a sliver of land in the distance. Florida. Del Arma says this was his second attempt at coming here, rushing for fear the U.S. will change its preferential treatment towards Cubans. Under the Cuban Adjustment Act, migrants intercepted at sea are sent back. Those who touch American soil can stay and later apply for residency. It's called the wet foot, dry foot policy.
We're seeing a bit of an uptick in activity.
The Coast Guard says they've seen a spike in Cubans coming here since the U.S. announced it would normalize relations with Havana. From December to April, 37% more Cubans took to the sea compared to the same time last year.
So this is a type of cutter that you use to go out at sea and find migrants?
Yes, this is one of the Coast Guard's brand new cutters.
The Coast Guard showed us the boats they use to pick up migrants.
They're fed, given showers, and some dry clothes while we await to repatriate them back to their country of origin.
I'd imagine that when the migrants see you, they want to get away from the Coast Guard. What's the reaction that you get mostly?
I would say that depends. So when we come across these vessels, they usually are in distress. They usually are in need of help.
Ellos son mis compañeros de viaje. Hola, ¿qué tal? Del Arma and his fellow migrants are staying in a hotel, their room paid for by a nonprofit partly funded by the U.S. government. They can apply for refugee benefits, up to about $180 monthly for the first 8 months, welfare programs like Medicaid and food stamps, and job placement assistance. Many can eventually travel back to Cuba. Alicia Garcia's exodus helped spark the wet foot, dry foot policy. In 1994, Garcia and more than 30,000 Cubans fled the island. They were picked up at sea, sent to Guantanamo, and later brought to the U.S.
When I stay in Guantanamo Bay.
Today, Garcia helps fellow Cubans come to the U.S.
I receive an emails, phone call, text, everything, every day.
Some people say it's not that they're really political refugees, it's that they want a better economic future, and then so do a bunch of other immigrants from other countries.
That is the problem now. So the new generation in Cuba don't see the political problems.
And is it fair for Cubans to have a type of special treatment in the U.S. when other immigrants from other countries don't have that same right?
It's fair and it's not fair. The Cuban is the same of Colombians, of Mexican people. It's the same, with only one difference. That country is a democratic country. We have the big difference. We live under the communism regiment.
Los cubanos tienen unos derechos.
Del Arma tells me he doesn't think the policy is fair, but it benefits him and he's happy to be here. Calling the U.S. paradise, he says risking his life for it was worth it.
America! Yay! Yay!
Some lawmakers want to change the current policy towards Cuban migrants, but the Obama administration has no plans to modify it, even as relations with Cuba normalize. Regardless of any changes, migration from Cuba is expected, John, to go up over the next decade as Cubans seek better economic
opportunities. This is a fascinating story because when you think that this government change, this agreement between the United States and Cuba, you wouldn't necessarily expect that more people would try to get here.
But they are, because they're rushing, thinking that perhaps the policy will change for them.
Yeah, we'll see. Inez, thank you.